Okay, so stop. If you're not normally ascribed to the Alaska Prepper channel, you already know that the title of this video was clickbait, but there's a good reason behind it. Alright, so let me just say this real quick. If you want to go back to sleep, if you want to go back to your everyday life where you think everything is just honky-dory and everything's going to be great forever, and that you've never been lied to, and that you're not living in an alternate reality right now, go ahead and click off. Give me a thumbs down, click off, go live your life and be happy, and I hope that everything is well for you. I truly do, okay? But if you're normally not subscribed to this channel and you clicked on this link or on this video to be entertained by watching videos about pretty little cats and what cute little things cats do, right? But you want to be waken up or awoken to what's really going on, or at least awoken enough that you can go and do your own research and see what's really going on in the world that you live in, then stay tuned, okay? Because this video is for you. Now, having said that, I'm going to go ahead and purposely put an ad right now. Okay? So if you're back after that ad and you didn't click off the video and give me a thumbs down, then congratulations, you just took the first step. Alright? Now, for those of you that are my awesome community members and are subscribed to this channel, you're going to hear something that I've said 1,000 times before. However, I think that the day after Christmas, on a day that people are probably still euphoric about all the nice little gadgets that they got, alright, about all of the new spyware that maybe they bought, alright, so that they can be spied on, new phones, new smart TVs, new Google Home, whatever it is that thing is called, that tracks everything you do in your house now, alright. You know, while the nation and a lot of the world is still in a high state, alright, because they gotten all these new little pretty gadgets that will go bad in a year or two, and then they'll just end up rebuying it with money that they've earned by trading their energy, their time, their wealth for. Alright? This is the time to get you guys to wake up. Now, don't get me wrong. I love watching videos about humanity, about how people are good. Every once in a while, I'll even click on one of these cat videos because they're funny, all right? But I just want to show you something. Look at these videos. In 3 weeks, 750,000 views. In 4 months, 4.6 million views. In 1 year, 1.5 million views. 24 million views. 4 million views. 22 million views. Alright? 110 million views. 677,000 views. 9.7 million views. 33 million views. 15 million views, etc., etc., etc. Okay? You'll find these videos with millions and millions and millions of views, but then you go to a video, a real video about what's really going on, you know, about people, about communities trying to wake up the average layman so that they can wake from their slumber, all right, and try to make a real life for themselves and not live in this fake alternate reality that we live in now, right? When you go to videos like that trying to wake people up, you get nothing close, because what these videos are, ladies and gentlemen, what these videos are, these are pain pills, right? These videos are pain pills. These videos are a shot of vodka or a shot of whiskey that are meant to calm you down, that are meant to pacify you, that are meant to make you think that everything is just beautiful. Well, if you still want to live in that world and not worry about what may come in the future, then click off this video. I encourage you to click off this video right now, because let me tell you one thing. My awakening process was pretty fast and furious, you can call it. Sometimes I wish I'd never woken up. All right? So if you don't want to be awake, click off this video. I'm only going to go over one very small, in a way it's a big aspect, but one just small thing. All right? I'm just going to introduce you to one small thing that we've been duped by. All right? Not only by this government in the United States, but every government does the same thing that happens here. All right, everyone, I'm just going to introduce you to one small thing, and then I am hoping that by introducing you to this one small thing, all right, it's really a big thing, but when I say small thing, is that there are so many things. All right, there are so many rabbit holes. All right, and a lot of them are proven to be true, but people do not want to be awake to what's really going on. So like I said, if you're one of those that stayed through the ad and are still here, congratulations. All right, you just managed to make it through the first step. And after this presentation, if you're still angry because I use clickbait to get you here, give me a thumbs up. All right, that's no big deal. Go ahead and cuss me out on the comments. All right, if you cuss me out, I'm just going to go ahead and block it because I don't really like expletives on this channel. But what I'm doing, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are still here, this is the beginning of your awakening process if you're still in a slumber. And ladies and gentlemen, it's not your fault. Okay, it's not your fault. If you think that everything in the world is beautiful because you're sitting with a lot of cash in the bank, because you have a big house with a $500,000 mortgage, and you have 2 $700 a month car payments, all right, and you have 17 credit cards, all right, if you think life is beautiful because you have all of these material things that you really don't own, that someone else owns, and you are their slave because you have to go to work every day in order to pay them back the money you borrow from them, if you think that that is reality, then you are wrong. And I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. And I am hoping that after this video is over, you do your own research. Do your own research. Use the internet for something other than looking at videos of funny cats and funny dogs, all right, and etc. And I'm just using the funny cat and funny dog video, you know, as, what do you call it? My vocabulary is terrible, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm just a layman, all right, as a metaphor. I'm just using those videos as a metaphor, and I'm talking about any other video that has nothing to do with reality. It's okay to be entertained, but be entertained and also be informed as to what's really going on. Stop living in a bubble, all right, where you think that everything that you are told is the truth. I don't want you to believe what I'm telling you right now. I want you to do your own research, okay? So if you think that this is the cure to everything, go back, click off, all right? I'm telling you, click off this video if this is what you want to think, that life is beautiful. And by the way, I love kitty cats. I really do. And the reason I'm inviting you to click off is because once you're awoke, you can't ever unwake yourself. You can't ever go back to sleep. Okay? So here we go. Let me just show you a couple of things. This here, okay, used to be the director of the CIA back in 1981. All right? And this is a quote from a person that used to work for the American people. And the quote says, "We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false." This is a person that used to work for the American people. All right, so read the quote for yourselves. "We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is fake or is false." All right, and that was William Casey, the CIA director back in 1981. All right, look this up, ladies and gentlemen. Look this up. The internet is a beautiful thing. Okay, it's time to wake up. Time to wake up. I'm not a doom and gloomer. I'm a realist. Right? What's a doom and gloomer? A doom and gloomer is someone that thinks the world is falling every single day. He's going to get on there and do videos every day about how the world is about to end. No, I'm not. The world is not going to end. The world is not going to end, ladies and gentlemen. Eventually it will. All right? Eventually it'll get hit by a meteor, or eventually, if it never goes through a catastrophic space event, like getting hit by another big rock, you know, in a few billion years, the sun will cease to exist and the earth will cease to exist along with it. Okay? So it's not going to last forever. All right? The world is not going to end tomorrow. The question is what kind of a life do you want to live while you're in this world? Okay? And if you have family, would you like to be prepared in case something happens that is out of your control? Would you like to be prepared to be able to take care of your family? All right? That is what the awakening process is for. Why? Because we can't change anything, ladies and gentlemen. We've let this go too far. We, as in humanity, all right, not just in this country, but in every other country, we have let it go too far. We have given too much power away. We have given away too many of our freedoms to big government. We've let it go too far. The average person in the street cannot do anything. And you know what? We're not going to do anything because we are divided. We are divided. And I don't see us coming together. All right? We are divided as nations, not only as a nation, but as nations. All right? The powers that be had done a great job at dividing us. Okay? We're divided between black and white. We're divided between straight and gay. We're divided between religions. All right? We're divided everything. We're divided by socioeconomic status. We're divided by 99% and the 1%. Anything and everything that can be talked about division, we are. All right? Because what is the best tool for a ruler to have over its people? It is the tool to keep the people divided amongst themselves so as that the people do not rise against the power that is dividing them. That is the best tool to have over a people. And this is another great tool to have over the people. You're looking at it. We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. Okay? Here's another one, just in case you don't want to go with this one. The CIA admits to Congress that the agency uses mainstream media to distribute misinformation. Okay? I'm not going to go through this video, but I'm going to go ahead and read you the first little bit. All right. It has been verified by a source who claims she was there that then CIA Director William Casey did in fact say the controversial and often disputed line, "We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false," in 1981. Right? Despite Casey being under investigation by Congress for being involved in a major disinformation plot involving the overthrow of Libya's Gaddafi in 1981, and despite Casey arguing on the record that the CIA should have a legal right, listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, he's arguing that the CIA should have a legal right to spread disinformation via the mainstream news that same year. This quote continues to be argued by people who weren't there and apparently cannot believe a CIA director would say such a thing. All right, so let's take a look at some of the notes from when he was being questioned in Congress. Question: do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to a major circulation? And this was a question by like the American Journal. The answer is, this is the answer he gave: we do have people who submit pieces to the American journals. All right? Question: do you have any people paid by the CIA who are working for television networks? Answer: this, I think, gets into the kind of getting into the details, Mr. Chairman, that I like to get into an executive session. What does that mean? That means that he does not want to state that information in public for the American people to hear. This person did not want to tell the truth in front of Congress, in front of the American people, because he did not want the American people to know what the truth is about this agency paying people who work in television networks. Okay, last one. Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to the national news services? All right, and then here again, can we talk about this in private? Ladies and gentlemen, if you believe everything you read, if you believe everything you hear, then you are wrong. All right, then you are wrong. You are living in a fantasy world. It's time that you wake up. Okay, now this is not normally the kind of videos that I make. As you can see by my title, the title of my channel is Alaska Prepper. Okay, I like to inform people on how they can prepare better, on how they can get prepared, on how they need to get prepared. Because, not because tomorrow the sky is going to fall, all right, not because tomorrow we're going to have a tsunami, not because we're going to have any kind of a war or disturbance, but because why wouldn't you be prepared? If you're listening to this video for the first time, if you're visiting this channel for the first time and you thought you were going to see some funny cat videos, think for yourself. Anything can happen. What is wrong with being prepared? What is wrong with having some food set aside? What is wrong with having some extra fuel set aside? Right? What is wrong with having some extra water set aside for times of uncertainty? Anything can happen at any time. Please understand that the more people that are prepared for a crisis, the better that it's going to be for you and for everyone else, and even for the government. The better that it will be for everyone, because you're going to have less people knocking on your door, or you yourself may be one of those people that won't have to go knock on someone's door. You won't have to go and stand in a FEMA line, all right, to get your one day's ration worth of food. All right, or to go to some kind of a shelter because you have absolutely nothing to eat or drink at your house because you didn't make any plans ahead of time to have a source of electricity, all right, or a source of water, all right, or have basic medicines, all right. Basic medicines can be very life-saving in certain situations, all right. So let's take a look at another one. All right, so do you think this is real? This is a graph of the Dow Jones, and I'm doing this video early on Wednesday morning, so the Dow has not opened yet. The market has not opened. But do you think this is real? Do you really think that this is really the American people trading? Do you think that, look at these trades. For those of you that don't know, the stock market is a representation of a large number of people's behaviors. Unfortunately, now is a large number of computers' behaviors, because 90% of trades are done by computers, all right? Only a very small percentage of trades are actually done by people. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're not vested in the stock market, you are vested in the stock market. You may think you're not. I'm not vested in the stock market. I have zero money in the stock market, but I do have money in the stock market, okay? And this is how I'm going to tell you that you do have money in the stock market. Let's say the stock market crashes. Do you have a pension? Most pensions use the stock market as a source of revenue. Okay? So what happens if the stock market crashes? Do you think that your pension is going to go unharmed? I have a small pension that I received from a job that I worked for a little over 10 years ago, way before I joined the military. Okay? And after I left that job, I started receiving a letter once a year telling us how that pension is doing, all right, how their fund is doing, all right. And every year they kept saying that the percentage that they were going to be able to pay out was less and less and less. I remember the first year I got one of those letters. It said that due to economic conditions, we're only going to be able to pay out 80% of what was promised to you. And I said, I don't really care, because I'm not going to be able to start collecting that pension till I'm 62, right? So I didn't care. And then the last letter that I got from them was a couple of years ago. I stopped getting letters from them, so I don't even know if they're still around. But the last letter that I got, it was down to 47%. They were saying that they were only going to be able to guarantee 47% of what I was originally promised from that pension. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now I don't care. I'm not vested in that. I wasn't, what I mean by I'm not vested in that, I'm not counting on that money. But what if you are? What about the people that are? What if you don't have a pension from a person? You have a 401k. Do you think that 401ks don't invest money in the stock market? Of course they do. Of course they do. Mutual funds, of course they do. But, ladies and gentlemen, take a look at this chart. This is not real. How do valuations, how does a company's valuation go up and down so quickly? It's like saying the value of your house today is $100,000. On tomorrow it's $230,000. Well, the next day it's $170,000. Well, the day after that it's only $90,000. Well, the day after that the market's feeling better, so now it's back to $250,000. That's what you're looking at here. If you want to put it in that way, that's how volatile our market is, but it's fake. It's not a real market. It doesn't really signify what the economy is really doing, okay? So there's just something that I wanted to show you, but do your own research. Do you really think that our economy is worth $22 trillion? Do you think our economy is worth $22 trillion? Take a look. Just Google how many store closures, how many businesses closed last year or this year in 2018. Google and see how many closed last year in 2017. All right. We hear that the economy is doing so great, and yes, it's doing good in certain areas. It's doing good in localized areas, but overall, it's really not doing that great. Okay. So look at this stuff. All right. Here's another one. Okay. Who owns the Federal Reserve? Do any of you even know? If you're here for the first time, I mean, my longtime viewers and my community members, you guys all pretty much know this information. And if you guys are sticking through this, I appreciate it. All right. You can always learn something new, even from hearing something for the 50th time. You can learn something new. Okay. So, do any of you know who owns the Federal Reserve? Okay. Who controls the Federal Reserve? Do we have any power? Do we the people have any power over the Federal Reserve? Okay, let's see. Let me just read a couple of this. I'm not going to go into... Well, let me see here. Okay, here. Who really owns the Federal Reserve? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read just really quick a couple paragraphs so you guys can get a gist of it. That way you can do your own research, all right? The board is an independent agency of the federal government, all right? But its decisions don't have to be approved by the president, legislators, or any elected officials. So what is that saying right there? That the Federal Reserve is completely independent, completely 100% independent from our government. So how do we control the Federal Reserve? They control our money. How do we control them if they control our money? We don't. We have absolutely zero say as to what fiscal policy, all right, or financial policy, or monetary policy, whatever you want to call it. We have zero say over what the Federal Reserve does with our money. You know why, ladies and gentlemen? Because it's not our money. What you have in your hands, those dollar bills that you have in your hands, they are not money. They are debt. It is debt. Those dollar bills that you spent this season buying presents and stuff like that, you were getting rid of debt. All right, and most Americans more than likely use credit card debt to get into even more debt. So you're taking out debt, right? That you're going to pay back with debt. Get your head wrapped around that. That's why I said, do your research, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at this. Once you start researching this and looking into this, you're not going to turn back, and that's a good thing. Because then you'll be able to make informed decisions. All right? Everyone tells you, go get a mortgage. Go get a mortgage. That's the American dream, is to go get a mortgage. Go buy a house for $250,000, and by the time 30 years is over at 4 or 5% interest, you'll have paid $700,000 for that house. That's the American dream, ladies and gentlemen. So that you can be enslaved for the rest of your life, working a job that you really don't like, because you have to be able to pay that mortgage. You have to be able to pay that car payment. You have to take out debt. You have to continue to take out debt. If not, our economy will implode. Why? Because our economy is debt-based. All right? If no debt is being accrued in this economic system, our economy will implode. All right? So let's say, equally as important, the Fed does not receive its funding from Congress. Instead, its funds come from its investments. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Federal Reserve prints money out of thin air. They invest the money that they printed out of thin air, and then they get money back for that. Sounds pretty good, huh? You wish you could do that. Wouldn't it be nice if you can go on a copy machine, print off, make a copy of a few $100 bills, and then go invest it and make more money off of that? That would be a great thing. It receives interest from U.S. Treasury notes it acquired as part of the open market operations. It receives interest on its foreign currency investments. Its bank receives fees for services provided to commercial banks. Now, ladies and gentlemen, every time that you make a transaction, that transaction goes through an, I believe it's called an ACH. But I could be wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong, please. If you know exactly how this works, if you're an insider and you know exactly how this works, let me know. But a way that these banks make a lot of money is that every time you do a credit card transaction, guess who gets a cut of that transaction? Yes, the banks do. But guess what? You may be thinking, well, it doesn't cost me anything more. If I go and buy a loaf of bread that's $2 and I pay with $2 in bills, I just pay $2. But if I pay $2 with my debit card, I just pay $2. The merchant is the one that has to pay that 3.5% surcharge on that purchase. And you're right. But ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. That surcharge that merchant is paying on you using your debit card or your credit card, that surcharge that the merchant is paying, do you think that they absorb that fee, or do you think that they roll that fee over in the price of the product that you're getting anyways? Just think, what would you do? Would you absorb that fee if you were the baker selling bread, or would you roll that fee over into the price of the product that you're selling? Okay. So you guys can do your own research. Go take a look. I really hope that there's a few of you here that are still here for the first time, because ladies and gentlemen, this is important. Okay? I apologize about the clickbait, but I did it on purpose. I did it on purpose, and I don't care if I get 1,000,000 thumbs down. All right? Because if I can reach one person, if one person clicked on this video that wasn't awake, and I can reach you, one person, it'll be worth it. Now, I just wanted to show you this real quick. This is a quote, all right, from a banker, all right, and this is what it says: "Give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who makes its laws." All right. So I'm going to go ahead and read this real quick summary right here. It says, supposedly, this is a quote from Mayer Amschel Bauer Rothschild. Ignore the distinct possibility that he did not make this statement, but let's assume the concept, if not the quote, is accurate. So what this is saying here is that this is supposedly a quote from Mr. Rothschild, okay? But even if it's not, let's say that it's not, all right? Let's say you go do your research and say, hey, you were wrong. This guy never said this. Okay, that's fine. But let's go ahead and assume that the concept of the quote, of what he's saying, give me control of a nation's money and I care not who makes his laws. Let us assume that that quote is accurate. All right, so what happens? The Federal Reserve and other central banks exercise considerable control over our economies via interest rates, debt creation, quantitative easing, and more. They create massive profits for the financial industry that in turn purchases many politicians and presidents. Okay? That's technocracy right there. Technocracy. All right? Look up the word technocracy if you don't know what that means. Technocrat. Go ahead and look it up. I'm not going to tell you what it means, but look it up. And let me know in the comments, what does that word mean? Now expand the concept into other areas and see the resulting and see if the results ring true. Give me control of a nation's financial systems and I shall own the politicians who make the law. You think that's true? Give me control of the FBI investigators and I can avoid prosecution and indictments. And ladies and gentlemen, when you control a nation's money, you control pretty much all of these institutions. Okay? How do you think people get bribed? With money. Give me control of the voting machines and I care not who the voter is in the popular election actually wanted. Let me say this again. Give me control of the voting machines and I care not who the voters in the popular election actually wanted. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, look this up. I'm trying to make this a quick video, that way those of you that are still here, that are new to this channel, that have just clicked on this, will please bear with me and just continue to listen to this stuff, okay? Because you need to wake up. I'm not telling you to go out there and become a what do you call it, and start protesting and start doing this. All I want you to do, ladies and gentlemen, is think for yourselves, because I know that when you think for yourself, you will start trying to get prepared, at least at a minimal level, at least for 2 weeks, at least for a month. Have enough things, all right, in your home, in your possession, all right, that is available to you, that you can sustain yourself and your family for at least at a minimum a month, very minimum. And I would say at least 6 months, if not a year. Okay, it's not impossible. It is not an impossible task. Okay, even if you're not a very well organized person, it's not impossible. Okay, I'm not trying to plug my own channel here, but take a look at some of my past videos. If you think that it's too expensive to prep because you see these food companies out there selling a year's worth of food for $4,700, it's not. It doesn't take that much money to prep. It does not take that much. Anyone can prep. All right, anyone can be prepared. All right, preppers, you know. And when I named my channel, I was like, well, I wonder if I should name it Prepper, Alaska Prepper, because, you know, people are going to look at that and be like, oh, this guy's just another nutty guy, you know, who's living in a different world within his own mind. You know, maybe I'm from a different dimension or something like that. Okay, I'm definitely not an activist. If you want to call me an activist, I'll say that I'm an activist for getting people to be prepared. That way they can take care of themselves and they don't have to rely on anyone else to take care of you. I mean, how is it that so many people think that's a bad thing? How is it that so many people think it's crazy to be able to take care of yourself, all right, instead of relying on someone else to take care of you? Why is that a crazy notion? I don't think it's a crazy notion, and I think that if you really think about it, you would agree with me. Okay, so here's another quote, all right? Gold is money, everything else is credit. This is by J.P. Morgan. You know, nowadays we're told, yeah, gold is not money. You know, gold is a barbarous relic. All right, it's been money for the last 5,000 plus years, but all of a sudden in the last 100 years, when the banksters have taken over pretty much our world, all right, now it's not money. Why? Because they tell us it's not money. Well, if they tell us it's not money, it must be true that it's not real money. Because who would know better than the banksters, who pretty much enslaved this whole world? Who would know better than them if it's not money? Okay, so here, real quick, I'm just going to read the first paragraph, maybe two. This is by Bill Holter, who is a great person. And here it goes. The quote is the title. Gold is money, everything else is credit. It's attributed to J.P. Morgan himself while testifying in front of Congress back in 1912, shortly before his death. I will explore this quote because it was exactly 100% true or 100% correct back then, and even more pertinent today. Okay, that's enough. But anyways, I just wanted to show you this because the next thing I'm going to show you is going to be the exact opposite of this. All right, so this is J.P. Morgan testifying in front of Congress, telling them, all right, telling the American people, because when you testify in front of Congress, really what you're doing is you're talking to the American people. You're testifying to the American people, all right, telling them or telling the American people that gold is money, everything else is credit. Okay, now check this out, ladies and gentlemen. This here is a video from a while back, and if you all remember Dr. Ron Paul, okay, who I consider him the champion of the Constitution, all right, because he is a constitutionalist who loves the rule of law and thinks it should be applied the way that it's written and not perceived. Well, just listen to this. Now, remember where we're coming from. We're coming from an article where it shows that J.P. Morgan back in 2012 was telling Congress that money is gold, or gold is money. Everything else is credit. Now listen to this.
Was devalued almost 50%. When you wake up in the morning, do you care about the price of gold? Well, I pay attention to the price of gold, but I think it reflects a lot of things. It reflects global uncertainties. I think the reason people hold gold is as a protection against what we call tail risk, really, really bad outcomes. And
you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? He says the reason people hold gold is as a protection against really bad outcome. All right?
that the last few years have made people more worried about the potential of a major crisis than they have gold as a protection.
Do you think gold is money?
No.
It's not money.
Even
if it has been money for 6,000 years, somebody reversed that and eliminated that economic law.
Well, it's an asset. I mean, it's the same. Would you say treasury bills are money? I don't think they're money either, but they're a financial asset.
Why do central banks hold it?
Well, it's a form of reserves.
Why don't they hold diamonds?
Well, it's tradition, long-term tradition.
Some people still think it's money. I yield back.
Ladies and gentlemen, I did my best during this video. I didn't want to make this video extremely long, but I've done my best. But here you go. That is such a pretty cat. That looks like a tabby. That looks like a little tabby. I used to own a tabby once. I love that cat. But he passed away. But anyways, if you want to go back to watching your cat videos now, that's fine. Go and do what it is that you're going to do. We're only in this world for a short time. And of course, that the physical things in this world don't really matter in the end. Okay? I like to think of religion as a vehicle that we all use to get to the same place, meaning that there's different types of vehicles, there's different types of religions, and we all use our own religion as a vehicle that will take us to the same place. All right? So of course there are things that are more important than this physical world. I understand that, because I know that there are going to be some people that are going to say, just rely on God, don't be afraid of dying, all this. No, don't be afraid of anything, but be prepared. Alright, if you think that right now, if you believe in a higher power, if you think that that higher power wants you to suffer, I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. Think about your children. Do you want your children to suffer? All right, because you have control over them. Do you want them to suffer? I wouldn't want my children to suffer, and that's why I try to be prepared in case something happens that is out of my control, that I may still have a little bit of control over having the things that I need and that my family needs in order to get through a small crisis or a major crisis. But this today, ladies and gentlemen, was a serious wake-up call for some of those that maybe were still so asleep that they only have 2 or 3 days worth of food in your fridge. Go to your refrigerator right now. All right? If you're new to this channel, if you just clicked on this channel because you wanted to see the cat videos and you stayed through, go to your fridge, go to your pantry. How many days worth of food do you have? Ask yourselves, if tomorrow I couldn't get any food because there wasn't any food in the supermarkets at all, ask yourselves, what would you do? All right? And that's where I'm going to leave it, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said before, for those of you that stuck this video out, I really appreciate you staying here and listening to the video. I truly hope, I really hope that this video reached some people that were not considering getting prepared. And maybe now, after seeing this, maybe you may want to decide to just do a little surfing on the internet and wake yourself up just enough to prepare. I'm not saying that you should go out there and be an activist in any way, shape, or form. I just want you to be prepared, because you will be better off if you are prepared. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I truly hope that you had a great Christmas. Alright, I know I did. I had a very nice Christmas. And not because I received a couple of little things here and there, okay? But because my family was here with me, and we even had the dogs in here. We've had them in here for the last 3 days so that they can spend the Christmas holidays with us. But probably starting tomorrow or the day after, they're going to go back to work, all right, because they're outside dogs and they're pretty much our guard dogs. All right, they let us know when someone's here that's not supposed to be here, so they will be going back to work. So having said that, like I said, I truly hope that you had a really good time with your families, your friends. I hope that you guys got everything that you wanted. All right, I hope that Santa Claus was good to you. All right, but more importantly, please start preparing if you're not preparing. All right, I'm not saying preparing for anything in particular. At least start out with food. All right, take a look at some of my videos, my 5 B's of prepping. All right, and my payday preps. All right, they'll teach you how to prepare on the cheap. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.